On March 30th, 2013, an anonymous dog walker is walking down near a ditch. There, they discover a body. The body is posed, wearing a dress. The dress is raised up, so you only see the victim's waist down. The victim? Kevin Lee, a man. Hello, I am the Grin, and joining me tonight is the lovely.
Amari.
Welcome to our podcast, a place where we do not shy away from the gruesome details, where some things may be triggering and hard to hear. Listener discretion is advised, so get yourself in the right space of mind and let's talk about dark shit. I'm going to start off this episode with an apology. I don't know if I sound it, but I sound kind of raspy. I was telling Amadi that I lost my voice in the beginning of the week, and I still feel like I sound like, I don't know, like I'm not fully there.
You sound okay.
Okay.
I'm sick right now, so my voice is gonna sound pretty bad, and I might cough.
Honestly, we both sound a little rough. So,
But we're here for you guys.
yes. And today we're going to talk about Joanne Dennehy. Oh, Joanne. So, Joanne Dennehy was born in St. Albans, Hertfordshire, UK, in August 1982. Growing up, it is said that she lived a normal life. She was very close to her mom and dad and her little sister Maria. There was really nothing out of the ordinary with her childhood. However, at some point, things did change, almost like a light switch. And the change wasn't really the kind of change that teens go through, if that's what you're thinking of. Like she did do the drinking, the sneaking around, drugs. I mean, those are the hardcore kids, but Joanne did participate in that. But she would skip school and get into more occasional spats with her parents, like very like shouting back and forth, which they found very out of the ordinary since that's something she never did.
But doesn't puberty do that to kids sometimes? Not all the kids, but some kids just are harder at it. I don't know how to say it. They just puberty emotions.
Maybe,
You know what I'm trying to say.
maybe. But I'll get to a few bits here and there and maybe you can kind of see maybe these were signs of something of some sort. Again, she got into spats. Her classmates described her as a bully. She was a very charismatic and manipulative individual who didn't really care about people's feelings, so her fellow classmates described her later on. Then at age 13, she started a relationship with an 18-year-old. She continued to clash with her parents, them wanting the best for her, but nothing worked. Joanne became more and more rebellious as the years went by. Then, at age 15, Joanne meets 20-year-old John Triner, and they begin a very serious relationship. Yes, it is
15
not
and
legal.
20.
It is gross. I know what you're thinking. Um, but yes, they begin a very serious relationship, more previous than the previous one, actually. And then later on, John claimed that there was never any sexual activity between him and Joanne until she reached the age of 16, which is the legal age in the UK. Um, but yeah, I don't believe that at all.
I call bullshit.
Yes, exactly. I smell it too.
You're a 20-year-old. You've done it before, and you're with a younger. You're gross. Oh my god.
So when she turned 16, that's when she decided to run away with John. And then at age 17, she became pregnant. Like, again, like a light switch, that's going to be a metaphor that I'm going to use constantly through this episode. Joanne's personality immediately changed when she found out she was pregnant. Joanne's reckless behavior stopped. The drugs, the alcohol, the violent outbursts, it all stopped because she wanted to protect her child. But after she gave birth, she went back to her old habits. It was also noted that Joanne was very cold towards her daughter. She kept her distance and never tried to bond with her. Instead of forming a connection with the baby, she went back to drinking and drugs. She would also cheat on John numerous times. And then in 2005, Joanne was pregnant again with John's baby. After her pregnancy with her first child, her behavior was more erratic than ever. But again, like a light switch, she stopped. Like the first pregnancy, she stopped drinking, taking drugs. She did everything to protect her baby until she gave birth. And then everything went back to how it was before.
That's weird because she's erratic and doing drugs and drinking, not caring for her firstborn, and then you get pregnant, like this, like the first pregnancy, and then you're you stop all of that to protect your child because somebody who protects somebody, you love them, you love your unborn baby. So she stopped all of this. But then after she gives birth, I don't care about you anymore. That's really weird.
I don't know if it's like, I don't care about you, more of a, I don't want to grow an attachment with you.
Why? Because when it's something like that, I don't want to grow an attachment. That's postpartum depression. But usually it's because they think they're a bad mom.
Yeah, I get that. I see that. But actually,
But she sounds like she just wants to party.
she does. She's a very rebellious individual. But I actually
Plus,
have,
she's a child still.
she is. That's true. Well, after the second child, she is not underage anymore. Well,
She's 18, isn't she?
yeah. By the
After the second
after the
child,
second, but yeah,
she's
correct.
18.
After the first one, she was still a minor. But with this one, I have theories, especially with the first part of the whole, yes, kids go through puberty and they become rebellious. They fight with their parents. They want to do this, they want to do that. But I think there was something insidious going on with her life. But we're going to get to it as this episode continues. John had stayed this long because he wanted to make things work with Joanne, and he really wanted a family. But everything changed when one day Joanne came back home and pulled out a 6-inch dagger knife from her thigh high boots and started waving it around the house, saying, "I want to kill somebody." End quote. That was the last straw for John, who immediately grabbed his 2 young daughters and left. And that was the last time Joanne saw her daughters.
Good. I'm not going to say he's a good guy, but at least he protected the kids.
Yes, at this point, it's the kids I want to be protected.
So did she come all crazy? Thigh high boots. So funny. I'm sorry. So thinking of what's it called? Julia Roberts.
Oh, that way.
Pretty Woman. That's what I'm thinking of, thigh high boots. But so did she come in, grab the dagger, all crazy saying it, or did she just come in casual and just say, "I want to kill somebody"?
She came in and pulled out the dagger from her boots and started waving it around, saying,
I know it doesn't matter which way she said it, but kind of curious.
Yeah.
It kind of makes you sound more of a psycho if you come in all casual and say it and you're serious about it.
Yeah, interesting that you say those words. We're going to continue. When John leaves, Joanne, now 27, starts drinking even more and is taking even stronger drugs than what she was taking before. She turns to prostitution, stealing, and other petty crimes for money. This leads her to get arrested and ultimately sent to prison. That's when Joanne finally gets her first mental health assessment. And there she is diagnosed with an antisocial behavior disorder. After she's released from prison, I believe some of the articles stated that she only went for like a year. Others stated she only went for a few months. But she didn't go for long. After she was released from prison, she moves to Peterborough. Here, she meets Kevin Lee, aged 48. Kevin ran a property lending business. He rented out properties that he owned to people who got out of prison and wanted to restart their life. This is why she went to him, since she needed a place to live. When they met, Joanne tells Kevin that she had just been released from prison and tells him a story. After serving 13 years for killing her father because he had been abusing her since the age of 5. Now, sideline, real quick. Her father has always denied ever touching Joanne or abusing her in that manner. But yes, she claimed that to Kevin.
That's weird. Saying that you went to jail and you were in there for so long for killing your father because he abused you.
I agree.
Is she trying to make herself sound cool or I don't. Huh.
Part of me feels like she's just saying it just to get sympathy towards him. It's like, oh, you went to prison because you killed your abuser. But then another part of me feels like, I don't know.
And maybe she can get a free room.
Yeah. And get this, Amadi, it worked. And yeah, Kevin took a liking to her and he liked her so much that he allowed her to stay rent free at his property with the condition to have her go out and intimidate his other renters if they ever missed a payment.
You can stay here rent free because I feel bad for you because you had a tough childhood. But I want you to be a bully to everybody else. I want you to be a thug for me.
Look, there you go. Here I was like, what do we call her? A security? What is she?
She's a
Thug.
thug.
Thug. Okay, there you go. So Joanne was having the time of her life. She, before going to prison, thrived with manipulating people, intimidating them, making them do what she wants. So yeah, this job was exactly what she was looking for. It suited her. So she recruited her friend Gary, aka Stretch Richards, age 47, to help her. Stretch is a very tall man. So tall that before he was released from prison, he was considered the tallest prisoner in the UK. He is 7'3".
Shit. Stretch. I thought gang names are. He's probably not a gang, but like, you know what I mean.
Street names,
Street names. There you go. I thought it's opposite. So wouldn't his name be Tiny?
Smalls.
It
I,
would make more sense.
unfortunately, Amadi, I'm not one of the street kids. I wasn't baptized with the street names. So I don't know how that works. A few months have gone by, and Joanne is now 30 years old. And on March 2013, she meets 31-year-old Łukasz Szlabuszewski, a Polish man who had just moved to the UK. Now, Łukasz was doing some shopping in Peterborough when he stumbled upon Joanne. She immediately turns on her charm and starts to flirt with him, so much so that he eventually gives her his number.
How
Later,
old is he again?
31. She's 30 at this point.
Oh, shoot. That's the first, yeah, first relationship, not with somebody
That's not
way older.
gross.
That's not what?
That's not gross.
Yeah, not gross.
Later, she starts texting and getting flirty. And then soon that texting turns into sexting. And they continue going back and forth with each other constantly. Now, Joanne has managed to win Lukash over. When Lukash's phone was discovered later on, police did find the text that he had sent out to his friend stating that he found himself, he was happy. He said that he had found an English girlfriend and that he was having the time of his life in the UK and everything was going great. Little did he know that that little English girl that he found was, I was going to say a bad root, but I don't think that makes sense.
It's a bad root.
We're going to leave that in there. You can interpret that how you would like.
Did you overwater it and now it's mushy? Did you not water it and now it's dying?
Maybe either one of those I think would work, right?
Yeah, sure.
Joanne eventually tells Lukash that she wants to see him, so she sent him the address of a vacant house that belonged to Kevin, since Joanne was his And here I use security, but thug makes much more sense. She had access to all those properties. So when Lukash went over, he had an idea of what was going to happen. He went all excited. But once inside, Joanne leads him to the kitchen, where she immediately takes out her knife and stabs him once through the heart. The stab proved to be fatal. Joanne then calls Gary, aka Stretch, and helps her put the body in a wheeled trash bin that they leave outside of the property.
That went fast. The whole time she was charming to him,
Yes. Oh, this
talking and
individual is
everything.
very charming, is something I forgot to add. Very talkative, very, like, I wasn't going to say kind, but she's not kind. But she has a lot of charisma. She really likes to talk and get people's attention. And
So was their whole relationship on the phone?
yes,
And
it
how long were
wasn't
they talking?
it wasn't like a whole like month or anything. It was just a few days.
Oh, so she just really wanted just to kill anybody.
She did.
Got it. Okay.
Okay. Joanne was proud of what she had just done. She went so far as to brag to people about it. On one occasion, a 14-year-old girl was walking by the property, and Joanne started bragging to the girl about what she had just done, and even went as far as to show the girl the body. They left the body there for 2 days until they managed to purchase a car to transfer the body to a ditch outside of Peterborough.
Okay. Now I don't think that's just antisocial disorder, personality disorder. That's psycho.
It
You're
is
to
not.
show a child, a 14-year-old, a dead body. You're showing other people or telling other people what you did. That's crazy. I don't think that's confidence. That's crazy.
Yeah, it is. And yeah, she gets diagnosed with something else, but
Ah,
we'll get
okay.
there. Now that Joanne has had a taste for blood, she wanted more, especially because she felt like she had just gotten away with Lukash's murder and nobody suspected her. Her next victim was John Chapman. He had been living with Joanne. He actually was renting a room in the same house that she had lived in. John used to be a member of the Royal Navy, but had a difficult life after that. 10 days after the death of Lukash, Joanne kills John after they had a spat the night before. She stabbed him a total of 5 times to the heart while he was sleeping that morning. Autopsy reports revealed that she had stabbed him with such force that the knife went through his breastbone. Then she calls Gary for help, aka Stretch. Get this. While all this is happening, in the next room over, Leslie Layton was fast asleep. He was another renter living in the same house, and he was friends with Gary and Joanne. So when he wakes up, Joanne runs over to him and immediately starts bragging of what she had just done and shows him the body. If you were in that position, you would start freaking the fuck out, probably shitting your pants. No, Leslie proceeds to whip out his phone and starts taking pictures of the body. Later, when they were caught, he deleted the pictures quickly, thinking that police wouldn't be able to find it. Obviously, he was wrong, and they were able to recover them and use them for evidence or as evidence. So now Joanne and Gary and Leslie help each other out to dispose of John's body.
I'm trying to remember. Oh, did you say this house was a halfway house?
It's basically a house where people, when they got out of prison, go. That's what Kevin Lee's business was all about.
Okay, so it makes sense kind of sense, why he was not all shocked and, oh my God, you killed somebody. Like, oh, okay, cool. Take a picture. I'm gonna send it to my friend.
What kind of sick fuck does that? Oh, I guess, yeah.
Who knows what he went into jail or prison for?
That's true. I didn't find anything about that.
See?
That's very true.
He they run in the same circles, so that, it's probably all like whatever to them.
Yeah.
That's cool.
But also, see how she was killing somebody while somebody was asleep in the next room. Joanne didn't care. Joanne didn't care if she was caught. Joanne didn't care if she was sloppy.
No, that's why I said she's crazy.
Yeah. But they had an issue that they needed to fix, and that was Kevin Lee, the owner of the properties. They thought that Kevin might find out about the two murders on his property, so they came up with a plan to kill him.
Pause.
Yes.
You said they were worried that he might find out what they have done.
Mm-hmm.
You just said a few minutes ago that she was bragging to everybody what she had done.
See, I don't believe that they were worried. I believe that, well, not they, that she wanted to kill somebody else
That makes more sense.
because of how she's going to kill him. Now, Kevin had a liking to Joanne, and he liked her so much that he started an affair with her. And she used this to her advantage. She used this by luring him over with the promise of sex. When he came over, she told him that she wanted to try something new. She stated that she wanted to rape him in a dress and convinced him to put on one of her black sequin dresses. Once he did what she had asked, she began to kill him. Autopsy reports did show that he put up a fight because he had defensive wounds, but she managed to fatally stab him 5 times through the chest. Now that Kevin is dead, Joanne, Leslie, and Gary dispose of John and Kevin's bodies in ditches.
Now Leslie's involved in this?
Now Leslie's involved. He's like, yeah, I want to be a part of this. So yeah, they're all sickos and
She's creating a psycho cult.
Yes. John was disposed at the same ditch that they used to dump Lukash's body, and then Kevin in another ditch 10 miles away. But with Kevin, they again posed him in a manner where the dress was raised up, and you could see that the body was assaulted after he died. If you get
assaulted sexually?
yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So it was posed in a very degrading manner.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, that's why is she trying to humiliate him
Hmm.
post mortem? That's weird. Because all her thing originally was just to murder.
Yeah.
Because she didn't do that to any of the other ones, right?
No, which I also do agree with you. I do find weird because the other ones, they all just left the bodies there in the ditch. This one, they went as far as to not dispose or dump, they pose the body in a particular way.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And yeah, I have a theory about this whole case, but we'll get to that in the end. I'll just show you the facts or tell you the facts. Um, then they proceeded to destroy Kevin's car by taking it to a farm and setting it on fire. They were very sloppy with that because they didn't even go all the way into the farm. They did it like in the driveway where people can see, and they just set it on fire. And oh, and the thing that I forgot to mention with Kevin's body is that it's near a ditch. It wasn't completely put into the ditch. So people can see it, basically.
See, I don't think it's considered sloppy. I think it's she doesn't care. She's crazy, okay? She doesn't care.
She's psycho.
She
Absolutely.
is. She's telling people that she's murdered. She told her roommate that she murdered. Hey, you want to see what I did?
Yeah.
And we're going to go burn the car so anybody can see us. We're not going to be all like hidden about it.
She's proud.
Is proud the term?
I mean, she was bragging. She was showing off. Showed off the body to the
That is
14-year-old.
not something to show off, though.
But I feel like,
psycho.
yes, but I feel like to her, in her eyes, she's prideful of what she's done. Kevin Lee's wife alerted the police after she grew worried that he hadn't come home. The next day, police did manage to find Kevin's car, and later on that day, someone who had been walking their dog stumbled across Kevin's body. Again, They found the body positioned in a way that you can see Kevin had been abused, and the dress was pulled all the way up with the waist down being exposed.
He was married this whole time? Sorry.
Yes,
Let's talk about that part.
affair.
Okay, I remember you said affair, but I just I don't know what I was thinking. Was she living in the same house?
Who?
The wife?
They had their own house, their own
Oh, no.
living
Oh, okay.
space.
So that was just a
This is just the
property.
property that he owned. Mhm.
I'm sick. Okay. Got it. Okay.
Police found his phone, and in the phone, they discovered his text with Joanne, who immediately became a person of interest based off the texts that they had been exchanging. They immediately head over to the property where Joanne was staying at, and they discover a blood soaked mattress. Thinking that the blood belonged to Kevin, they take it in as evidence and soon discovered that that blood did not belong to Kevin, but to John Chapman, her second victim. Police put up pictures of Joanne and Gary, and another police immediately recognizes the people in the photograph. The police officer was just at a gas station that had been robbed, and Joanne and Gary were the culprits. Now, police have the license plate to the car that they were traveling in because of the security cameras around. But Joanne was over the moon. She felt like she was Bonnie and Gary was Clive. While they were being hunted, they stopped to do some shopping at a mall and then went over to a friend's house and decided to do a little photo shoot. The pictures are very disturbing. And then they start to break into random houses and start stealing things that they could use to sell for cash. That's when Gary gets his friend Mark Lloyd involved. They needed to sell the items quickly, and they thought Mark would be the ideal person to help them. But he didn't want to when he found out what they have done. Then Joanne pulls out her knife and threatens him. She explained to Mark that she had just killed three people and asked him if he wanted to be number four. And after that, he immediately said yes.
Did she and Stretch have a thing together? Or he was just an accomplice the whole time?
She always stated that they were just friends, nothing more.
So I'm trying to wonder, like, why is he doing all this, like, with her or for her?
I feel like she won him over with just being charismatic.
Charm.
Yeah, she's a charmer. Mark was in shock as to how calm everyone was inside that car, especially Joanne, who had just been taking selfies and was just laughing around with her buddies, pretending like it was just a road trip. Then they stop at another gas station. From the footage obtained by CCTV, it looked like Joanne was being very flirty with Mark, hugging him and being so close to him. But actually, what you don't understand from those videos is when Mark eventually tells police what had actually happened, Joanne was up against him with her knife on his back, threatening him that if he did anything fishy, anything out of the ordinary, she was going to push it into his chest.
Oh, so she knew she was being recorded. So that's the reason
Yep.
she did that.
Yep. She played it for the cameras. This woman is not dumb. Once they get back into the car, that's when she turns to Gary and explains to him, I want to kill somebody with a dog. That's when they drive down the street and see a random man walking his dog, and Joanne immediately jumps out of the car and heads straight for him. She stabbed 63-year-old Robin 2 times in the shoulder. Robin, when he was asked about the stabbings, recalled saying that he felt like somebody was punching him. He didn't feel like they were stabs. But when he turned around and saw Joanne, he immediately kicked her and made a run for it. Joanne did not go after him because Gary shouted from the car, get back in, and Robin was able to make it home and call the ambulance. Paramedics arrived quickly. just in time because they stated that he began to bleed profusely and any longer and he would have died.
I'm so happy he didn't die. He was 63 years old, just walking his dog, like having a grand old morning or day or whatever. Oh my God. I'm
Yeah.
happy he didn't die.
That was insane.
So when you said that she randomly decided that she wanted to go kill a person with a dog, I immediately thought, so is she playing murder bingo? What is she doing?
I don't even think she knows what she's doing. I think she just yeah, I think she's just like, "Oh, let's do this, let's do that." But this next part is what kind of like trips me out a little bit. So Joanne got back into the car, thanks to Gary, while Mark was in the back seat basically shitting himself, watching everything go on. And Joanne then states to Gary that she wants to kill again. But she states that she does not want to kill women, especially women with children. She wants to kill a man with a dog. And after 9 minutes, they find John Rogers. Immediately, Joanne gets out of the car and heads straight for him. She begins to stab him. She basically stabbed him a total of 30 times. Then Joanne grabs the dog and makes a run for it, leaving John there thinking that he died. By some miracle, John did not die and managed to crawl until a woman found him. They immediately called for help. Despite having 9 fractured ribs, his lungs having been collapsed, and his bowel completely torn open and exposed, he survived.
So is it because she's doing it so fast? Because the other one, the second murder or the first murder, didn't you say that she went through the breastbone?
Yes, she knew where she was attacking in the first two.
Or because she
Even
had
the
more
third,
time to do it? And
I
this is
think so.
faster, so she's not actually able to.
But this one, she was like slicing him like crazy.
It's weird.
Yeah. What weirds me out is the part where she said that she doesn't want to kill women, especially women with kids.
That one, I don't know. That one, I feel like she didn't want to do that because, she's a mother too, even though she doesn't give a shit about her kids because they were taken away from her. I think she just really wanted a dog.
Maybe. Let's get back. Joanne, back in the car, was hungry for more. She wanted to kill somebody else. But police, thank goodness, is able to catch up with them and immediately arrests her and everybody in the car. Once at the police station, she turns on her charm and begins to flirt and giggle with everybody, making jokes, chatting away. She even stated to one police officer that murder is like a regular Sunday roast. Police thought that she was going to start bragging about her kills, but when she was asked about the murders, she immediately went mute. This didn't really matter since they had so much evidence against this woman. And Mark, the one who was basically shitting himself the whole time, the one who was being held against his will, cooperated with police and was not charged with anything since, I mean, he was being held against his will in that car. Gary Stretch was sentenced to life with a minimum of 19 years before parole. Leslie Layton was sentenced to 14 years. That was the dude who helped dispose of the bodies and take pictures.
Was he in the car with them too?
Yes.
I forgot he was there. Okay.
Yeah, he was also there being buddy buddies with Stretch and Joanne. And finally, Joanne Dennehy was sentenced to life without the possibility of parole, making her the third woman in UK history to ever receive the sentence. The other two being Myra Hindley and Rose West. Which, if you want us to cover Myra Hindley or Rose West, those are two very sick and disgusting individuals. And we're going to get to Rose West here in a minute, but because she comes back in this case.
I was going to say, I'm like, she has such a cool name.
Ah, no, she's an absolute monster. But yes,
You can be a monster and have a cool name.
I don't like Rose West.
Okay.
But get this, Amadi. There, she was diagnosed as a psychopath, and she did express to a psychiatrist that she was sexually abused as a child, which here comes my theory, because we're done. Well, kind of done. My theory is so going back to her teen years, how her parents described that it was like a light switch, that she went from being this kind hearted, innocent little girl to just going, what's the right way to say this? Just being extremely rebellious against them. I do think that there's a possibility that she was abused as a child, and maybe that was a sign that she was just angry or like taking out her anger, especially how all her victims were male, especially how, if you take into consideration when she was pregnant, she would party, she would do this, drink, drugs, everything. But she stopped as soon as she found out she had a child in her. And she did that not just from the first pregnancy, but the second pregnancy as well. And she did state she didn't want to harm women. She didn't want to harm women with kids. And especially with finally um, Kevin, how you, Amadi, described like, oh, but that man was like a father figure, and that man is the one she degraded the most compared to the other two. So I feel like there's something deeper, but she
She was
never,
thinking the same thing I was thinking.
yeah. So I feel like there's something deeper there.
Yeah, maybe because so far everything else she was very honest about. She was bragging that she killed people. She didn't try to hide things. She was very open and honest about pretty much everything. So, except for no, no, she probably told Kevin that she murdered her father because that's what she really wanted to do if he actually did that stuff that she said.
These are just theories.
Yeah.
None of them have been proven, but that is just what I think, and take that with what you will. I presented you with everything. Make your own conclusions, but that is what I think.
No, yeah, to me, yeah. Yeah. Why would she just lie about that now?
My thoughts exactly. Now, the case doesn't end there. So, Joanne Dennehy receives life. She is the third woman to receive this. She is then sentenced or sent to the same prison as Rose West. Once there, she basically comes up with a plan of escaping the prison. She,
With Rose West?
no,
Oh,
just her. We'll get back to Rose West here in a minute. Her idea was that she was gonna charm an officer, have him like lure him to her with a promise of sex, and then slicing off his fingers so that that way she can escape and use his finger as a way to open the doors. Obviously, this didn't work because I believe somebody ratted her out, and
I thought you were going to say it's because they also need eye scan.
that
Sorry.
would be kind of cool, actually. I don't know if prisons have that. Maybe some really high security ones.
Oh, maybe.
But back to Rose West. She was in the same prison as Rose West. At the time, in 2002, that's when Myra Hindley, the first woman to ever be sentenced to life, died. So now it's just her and Rose West are the only two. And this is another theory. I think that she wanted to be kind of like the top one, like, oh, I did this, I did that. And she thought that Rose West was the only other top dog in this prison that could like outshine her. So what she did is she threatened Rose West. She threatened to kill her so that way she could take the title. And police immediately took this threat seriously and moved Rose West to another prison, which Rose West was devastated. She was heartbroken because this prison that she was in, they had a kitchen which allowed the prisoners to bake and cook. And the prisoner that she was sent to or that she was going to did not have that luxury. And she was heartbroken. And yes, that concludes my episode of Joanne Dennehy. This case is also nicknamed or given the name the Peterborough Ditch Murders because of how they disposed of the bodies near the ditches in Peterborough. But yes, Joanne Dennehy, she at the time was considered the most dangerous woman in the UK. So, and I think she still is, honestly. Um, but yes, any thoughts?
I think I did use the term psycho early on. I'm just very happy that I was right.
Yes, you were right. That's what I was like. Yes, Amadi. Yes, yes. You were correct. You were right the whole time.
I knew it. Pat on the back.
Before we leave, please remember to like and comment on this episode and share, please. That would mean the world to us.
Yes, and YouTube, Instagram,
Again, let me know.
Spotify.
I was really digging into Rose West, but let me know if you want me to cover her case and Myra Hindley's. They're the only three women who were ever convicted of life in the UK.
I
So
heard of,
Myra,
yes, I've heard of her name.
she's notorious. I think if I show you a picture, you might know who
Okay,
she
because I've
is.
heard of her name.
Yeah.
Rose West, though, I have not. She sounds like an actress.
Myra Hindley has kind of like which I forgot which other episode I covered, but Myra Hindley is one of those people where if I show you the picture, they have the psycho eyes. Like, oh, you give me the heebie-jeebies, like you did something.
Like calm and relaxed looking nice.
To me, it's more of like
Wide eyed.
the wide eye, like, ooh, you did something bad. Like you don't like no, I don't want to be near you.
You're so judgmental.
Oh, sorry. That is just my nature.
That's true.
That's true. But yes, let me know if you want me to cover those two. And with that, remember to be well
Be safe.
and see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.